Open your eyes.
If you are wondering why everything going on in the world feels so terribly off, then you have come to the right place. A veil has been put over the eyes of humanity. Evil people in high places have been hiding the truth in plain sight and building a false reality on lies and deception for far too long. And now, their time is coming to an end. It's time to fight back, to wake up, and to begin an uprising. Now is a time for judgment.
This is a time for judgment. Welcome to today's show. This story is probably so surreal to someone such as myself who has been studying all of these things with satanic ritual abuse, mind control, Manchurian candidates, super soldiers. If you have followed or heard any of the sermons or read the books of Russ Dizdar, who talked a lot about this, and I'll show you a clip of him because I shared this on the website, my website, atimeforjudgment.com. Yes, it actually does work. It's you can see for yourself, atimeforjudgment.com. So you check it out over there, where I talked about one of the events that occurred on the 4th of July and the potential of that, or sometimes all of these events, whether it's a false flag or it's actually a hoax, they do use what they call super soldiers. And what a super soldier is it's somebody who has altars created inside of them through torture, torment, trauma-based mind control, satanic ritual abuse. And these altars can be triggered and activated via certain commands from handlers. Now, this is stuff people would hear and they think it's crazy, coony talk, like it's conspiracy crack, stuff. And it's amazing to me they've brought attention to it. So with the stuff going on in Russia and Ukraine, which, by the way, I have to say, this video in no way, shape, or form is supporting Russia, because there's actually literally a YouTube guideline that if you talk about the war in Ukraine or something along those lines, you have to be pro-Ukraine. I'm pro neither. I'm not pro-war. But if you're wondering, anytime YouTube or any of these companies are behind any of this, anything going on in the world, you should probably have the opposite view of what they're telling you to do, because they clearly don't have your best interest at heart, especially YouTube, where they censor speech and they want you to listen to their narrative that they promote only, and anything else is considered misinformation or dangerous. So this article came out about what's going on over in Ukraine. It says Russia says it's losing because Ukraine has experimental mutant troops created in secret biolabs. Now, the headline is obviously enough to make people laugh, because they put headlines like this out there because they want people to laugh. And they want people to be like, wait, what? As if, the people in Russia's in the middle of supposedly in the middle of a war with Ukraine, and they come out and they say they're losing because Ukraine has experimental mutant troops. I doubt that that's how they worded it, but this is how they want articles out there to be, because they want to sensationalize it, to deflect off of it, to make humor about it, because anytime something's true, like Pizzagate or any of these events that have occurred with Satanists over the last centuries, really, they come out and they deflect. So nearly 5 months into the war against Ukraine, Russia has concocted a wild new explanation for why the Kremlin's plans for a quick takeover fell apart so spectacularly, because Ukrainian troops were turned into superhuman killing machines during secret experiments in American-run biolabs. There is if you want truth, folks, if the headline starts making fun of it and trying to use words like mutant troops to make people triggered so they think of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or the X-Men or something, realize that there's truth behind it. You do not even know to the slightest capability what our government is capable of and the technology that they have. So people will be like, what's a super soldier? Is he just somebody who's got on steroids? No. A super soldier is somebody who is so tactically trained, who has altars that can do certain types of things that we would only think could be done inside of movies, like Green Beret, like Rambo type crap. These people are also emotionless. They are trained as satanic super, so they have no emotion whatsoever. They are completely desensitized. They're pretty much like robots for the most part. So Russia has claimed this. I'm shocked that this story's even out there, but they say the claim was made Monday by 2 Russian lawmakers heading a commission to investigate biolabs in Ukraine. The deputy speaker of Russia's federal council, deputy chair of the state, touted that they described as bombshell findings from the investigation testing of Ukrainians' POW's blood. They claimed uncovered a range of diseases that suggest they were secretly experimented on for military purposes. I don't know how anybody could laugh something like this off as if the government doesn't do that. Oh, right, they do, because they see movies like V for Vendetta or all these movies where they literally do stuff like this to the military, and then they're like, oh, that's just crazy stuff. They would never do that willingly to the military or any of these people. We are proud of our troops. We love our troops. Then your troops, of course, come home, and they don't care at all about the troops. They don't give them any money or funding. They rather give tax money to people changing their genders, aka cutting off their wieners, pay for that instead of funding the people who supposedly are protecting us in the military. But anyway, they say, as we see the cruelty and barbarity with which the military personnel of Ukraine behave, the crimes that they commit against the civilian population, those monstrous crimes that they commit against prisoners of war, confirm that this system for the control and creation of a cruel murder machine was implemented under the management of the United States. And I'm about to play for you the clip. This is Russ Dizdar, who passed away. Him and his wife passed away. They were, let's just be honest, they were murdered last year from the old 1-9er, but it was definitely an energy weapon. This is how they take people out. They take them out, and then they go, oh, they died from the 1-9er, and they were anti-magic potion, so, it's their fault, and everybody laughs. I mean, it's really sick how just pathetic these people are, and their attempts to silence the truth, because Satan's a loser, just like all of them. They're all just pathetic losers. Who are you? I mean, literally, if you're saying this, you're a loser, because you know how the story ends, you lose. So you're like a super loser, since we're talking about super soldiers. So I'm going to play this clip now so you could see what this is all about. Listen to this. It's frightening, but it's truthful. And Russ Dizdar has a lot of stuff out there. You can listen to his sermons about satanic ritual boosts, demon possession, things that everybody would laugh off and dismiss. It is 100% truthful. There's 100% truth behind it. The Bible backs it up. Okay, so if you're a Christian and you listen, you're like, this stuff's a little sensational. No. This stuff, and Russ Dizdar in his teachings, he talks 100%, he backs it up with scripture. He shows you and talks about this stuff with demon possession, about Christ casting out demons, and how, we have the ability to do that as well. These are other types of videos that I'll get into on my website in the future. I have some books that I'm going to share over there and read and give people some information, especially when stuff goes down on how to combat a super soldier, because really the war doesn't come down to weapons. It comes down to the weapon of your mind and your faith, and how to operate and try to disarm these super soldiers. But anyway, I know a lot of people are like, wait, I don't even know what you're talking about, super soldiers. So let me show you this clip of Russ Dizdar. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm curious. And again, there's more info on this on the website, so check it out, atimeforjudgment.com. Here it is. What is the Black Awakening?
It's related to the red horse prophecy in Revelation. It's related to 2 Thessalonians 2, when it says about the day of the Lord, the parousia. That day will not occur until the apocalypse of the Antichrist and the apostasia, the word rebellion or revolt. That's all really defined in the prophecy of the red horse. But here's where the term came from and why I used it purposely. When I started dealing with ritually abused individuals, and then we dealt with military-oriented, highly trained, programmed shooters and assassins inside of them. When we began to deal with them, I dealt with someone from Fort Bragg for quite a while and a few others. We're sitting in a lake, Conneaut Lake. They reached over and ripped open my shirt to see if I was wired, if I was wiring and recording them. And they were the most sophisticated satanic warrior type person. They knew 5-6 languages. They knew the ancient Twilight languages. They knew how to conjure. They knew how to use Belteshazzar, Okwam, all these old Pictish languages of the Druids to summon. They are the real Luciferian. They've been through many human sacrificial things. So they sat there to tell me some of those things, what they've been involved with, how they sacrifice a human. I'm listening to all this stuff from them. And then they said to me, you have no idea, Russ, how many of us there are out there, how many satanic they use the term chosen ones. You have no idea how many. You have no idea what's coming. We smell Christian blood. We are waiting for our day, and when the call is given, millions of us will be released. And they looked at me and said, you believe in revivals and you believe in Pentecost and the power of God. You believe in all that. We believe in the Black Awakening, a multi-continental release of power to activate the program demonized, where they've weaponized the demonic powers to these super soldiers.
Are they waiting for a specific time to unleash their power?
Yeah, they are, because they have to do it at the moment the Antichrist is, like you read in 2 Thessalonians 2, that it's caught to echo, the restrainer is holding back the apocalypse of the Antichrist, the unveiling in his movement. So right now he's held restrained. Soon as he who restrains is removed, soon as that occurs, we have White Horse, the release of the Antichrist. Instantly, we have the release of the red. It says the whole earth. Arraign, peace is taken from the whole earth, and all of a sudden, it doesn't give the details, but all of a sudden, on a global scale, people are released to begin to, and the Greek word is sphadzo, slaughter, begin to slaughter people. It's used of animal ritual butchery, to begin to slaughter individuals. That's exactly how they defined it to me back in the 90s. And we've heard this again and again and again. So that scenario fits the Masonic version of Chaos Before a New Order. It fits Father Meradon from the Cathedral of the Black Goat, his book, The Devil's Bible. It fits that scenario too. So some of the oldest, darkest occultists, the idea of chaos first, a collapsing of everything so that a new order could rise, that's all by design. And we've been given the heads up in prophecy, but all prophecy has boots on the ground. It'll all eventually happen. So I do believe that millions and millions of these trained, programmed, altered, demonized super soldiers, whether we want to say it or not, they believe they're being raised to help bring the Antichrist in. When I was in England just a few months ago, their top guy that deals with SRA, Wilford Wong, 25 years. So first time I meet him, I pull him aside and I said, listen, you've been doing this 25 years? Yeah. I said, you know all about programming and demons, all that? Yes. I looked right at him and I said, Wilford, why are they here in England? Instantly, he said, they are here to collapse our government. They are here to help bring in and usher in the Antichrist and a new order. He didn't know me. He already knew. That's true in Germany when we were in Germany, when we went to Wedelsberg Castle. That's true in Poland when we went there. That's true in Switzerland. It's true in Canada. So when we talk about our research in 38 years worldwide, there may be well over 100 million generations of them. And if even half, or even if 10% were intact, like say the United States, remember the shooter in Vegas? Look what he did. Look what that guy did. Okay, notice what would happen if 10,000 of them, or like Colorado Holmes, or like Jared in Arizona, what if 10,000 of them were released in 1 week? That's their plot plan, and biblical prophecies ahead of that to say here is what is going to happen, and from that a global monetary collapse, and from that's all that chaos is coming. So Revelation 13, a whole new order with the Antichrist can come.
Wow. Scary stuff.
Yeah, can be. It's scary for the world. For us,
yeah.
We know no matter what. Yeah,
emboldened with the Holy Spirit. Yeah. So next question. This is a two-part question. First part: does SRA exist, and if so, how prevalent is it in society today?
Yeah, satanic ritual abuse, and I could say it this way: it not only exists. Satanic ritual abuse is inseparably connected to multiple personality disorder. All of society knows since the late 70s, and even DSM-3, DSM-4, those are the diagnostic manuals for psychology. They all know that all of a sudden, multiplicity started showing up everywhere. They call it DID now. So the secular world, they're registering, millions coming in for diagnosis on that. Now, they don't know how to handle the satanic side. So I'm going to tell you just straight out, after 38 years of dealing with it, not only is SRA real here in the United States, that there are millions of victims by design, that there's now generations of them. We deal with 65 and 70-year-olds. They're the first generation. Then we go to 40-year-olds and 20-year-olds. I got 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds we're dealing with. Because if you don't stop this somewhere, they do it to the next generation. That's by design. That's the way it's supposed to be for them. So, but it occurs in selection. It's generational. It caused and it's simply to say that they bring a lot of trauma to the child to cause split in personality, so that they can demonize and or begin to program. You're going to be a witch. You're going to be a conjurer. You're going to be a program shooter. All kinds of these things happen, and then they're raised in that system. And they're raised to keep all of that hidden down and just have kind of little Joey up or little Sally up. And they may not know until they're 15, 16. They may not know what's inside them till later on. But millions have already showed up at psych wards all across America since the late 70s to this day. We look at a child and automatically we're going to protect them, save them, guard them, whatever it takes. They look at a child, they'd eat it alive, they'd destroy it, they'd torture it. You gotta remember, that's their nature. And so if they could show more of their nature to a defenseless child, they love that. That's why some rituals are called demon revels or satanic revels. The younger the child, and here's exactly what dark undergrounders have said to me, the younger the better, and we never kill them right away. We prolong the torture. Why? Because we have to raise the energies, the terror, the fear, and then little by little letting some blood out, because blood is and all that torment, it's like, think in terms of rats and garbage. Smelly old garbage draws the rats. A ritual with all that torture, with all that pain, ultimately prescribed by the demons in the first place, it draws them. And once they begin to open the blood gate, that's what they attach to in the context ritual. Then when a child or a human is killed, that's when the demons are released to the practitioners. So it's all about their unsatiable hatred of God. Anything they can do to harm humanity, harm innocence, as an attack on God in a sense. There's no question, in their nature, they don't shed a tear. They don't have any mercy. So they'll harm, and they love that as part of the entrance to come into this side. Here's the other side of it. We've been to Canada, Scotland, Geneva, Switzerland, Germany, Poland. They're all over there. We just got back from Scotland, UK, and we met one of the guys there, one of the leaders in the whole nation on the subject, and same issue. It stems from the original Nazis creating a master race. Wherever the Nazis went in the early 50s, rat lines all around the planet, wherever you see them going to escape, then you see the rise of SRA. So we need to rename this. SRA that's the tools to hammer this in and to augment these people and to bring the demonization and to create them. But really, it is part of the master race development that started back in the late 30s. And Himmler's goal was to create 200 million of them. That was his stated goal.